Boom shakalaka, what's up homies? My name's D-Nice. Alright, somebody requested that I do a part 2 of my pick'em, which I'm sure a lot of people that have been doing this, rest in peace, are pick'ems, man. I don't know what the hell that group stage was, but it was really bad in terms of what was supposed to happen and what actually happened. It's like virtual reality versus reality, because it almost felt like a fantasy of what was going on in some of these group stages. Other than that, TSM. Nah, in fact, we're gonna get to that later, okay? We're gonna go group by group, Group A to Group B to Group C to Group D, and then we're gonna discuss why I thought my pick'em was going to be a certain way and why I thought other people were going to win that didn't win. But other than that, man, group stages was crazy. So for Group A, Rocks Tigers, I expected them to take first, and the reason I expected them to take first is even though Peanut doesn't really have a lot of best of series experience because he's only played 2, I think. No, I think he's played, is it 2 or 3? No matter the case. All right, Peanut does not have much best of experience. So even though he doesn't have a lot of best of experience, I still consider him better than every other jungler that's in this group. And when you have Smeb, you know, Smeb period, I think is better than all the top laners in this group. So, and Prey's not really going to be outclassed by anybody else as well. But let me tell you, that game between Rocks and Albus Nox Luna, that one game before the last game that they played, that was really an entertaining game to watch. I recommend that you go watch that. I mean, it was entertainment, it was entertainment, but in the same time, Rocks was really giving up a lot of early games in the group stages. And for the second time that they played Albus Nox, they showed why they should have been first in the group. But Rocks was really playing with fire because they almost got kicked out of the group, to be honest. Because I think if CLG, if I remember correctly, if CLG won against, I don't remember who it was, then Rocks would have actually have been eliminated from the tournament. I don't remember which team it actually was, but they were playing with fire for a while there, so they're lucky to get out of the group. CLG, I didn't expect to get out of the group because there was G2 there. You have Sven, Perks, need I say more? And G2 got wrecked. I don't even know what happened. Like every time I would watch G2 play, I was just like, is this really happening? Is Albus Nox really gonna move on to the knockout stage instead of G2? And that is really what happened, guys. I don't know about, I don't know what happened to G2, man. They underperformed. I think maybe it was less G2 underperforming and Albus Nox overperforming, but nah, I wouldn't. It might have been maybe a combination of both because G2 won one game. I can't even say anymore, but so I was wrong about my picks for Group A except for the first pick. So I got that correct, and I got the Counterlogic Gaming being in third. I was definitely not expecting G2 to come in last, for sure. Now, Group B. This was a heartbreaker for me. This, well, almost heartbreaker. Because I knew SK Telecom was going to come in first. You have Bang, Faker, Duke. Who's going to compete with that team in the squad? And it's, no. It's not gonna happen. So basically what was left is who's gonna get second place. And I was really conflicted. Is it going to be Flash Wolves or Cloud9? Now, Cloud9, honestly, Cloud9 threw a bunch of games in group stages. They almost threw the last game that they had to play. I think it was the last they played Flash Wolves, was it? It was either no, it was IME. It was IME. They had a 10,000 gold lead and almost threw the lead diving turrets. So there was a lot of winning in the early game, and then there was a lot of throwing. And Cloud9, when I saw them lose, I think IME stole a Baron, and then they almost got aced, and they lost the team fight. From then on, and then I saw them dive towers, my heart was breaking literally while I was watching Cloud9 do that. Because if they lost that game, they needed to win that game. If they lost that game, then IME would have been in second, and they would have, IME would have qualified for the knockout stage, and Cloud9 would have been eliminated. I knew SK Telecom was going to beat Flash Wolves in the last game because they just wanted to handle business, basically. They wanted to let they wanted to let Flash Wolves know that, look, you're not on this level, okay? Get out. Other than that, Group C, another one. Group C, H2K? H2 what? H2K. Yeah, I was so happy that H2K got first, but Edward Gaming, they, I feel, definitely underperformed in group stages. I don't know what was going on. H2K beat them in lane, I think, in both of the games that they played in the last day. It's really, really weird seeing this happen because I don't know how to put this. Like, they look so dominant in the finals, the LPL finals against Royal, which I'll get to in a second. And now they're underperforming and almost didn't make it out of groups. So that is also a team that should have made it out of groups and almost didn't make it out of groups, just like the Rocks Tigers. Rocks Tigers, man. Yeesh. Honestly, it was almost rest in peace NA if Cloud9 didn't make it through, which also would have destroyed me. I was on the edge of my seat, and for that last Cloud9 game against IME, I was on the edge of my seat, man. I was like, no! I was like, Videos, why are you turret? No! It was giving me so much pain. So much pain. But alright. Group C. H2K, I was extremely hyped that they got first in the group. And Edward Gaming, it was really close because AHQ almost made it through, which would have been another thing I would have gotten wrong, which that would have also sucked for my pick'em. But rest in peace, my perfect pick'em, because that is never happening now. I want to see the dude who picked this correctly, because I don't know how anyone could pick this, okay? And INTZ, I expected them to be in last. And now Group D. The group that broke my heart, man. I expected Samsung to come in first, and I expected TSM to get second. Why? Because I believe that Samsung has a better mid and late game, and I believe that they're better in team fights than TSM overall, and they look like a stronger team, especially since they're in the what is widely recognized as the hardest region. So I figured Galaxy would perform. They were definitely underperforming in the first day, but the second day they definitely picked it up and handled business, just like I expected them to do in the first day. Now, the second day, I was almost in tears, and any TSM fan, I know you guys were raging. I've seen people be, whoa, that's not even English. I've seen people send death threats to Monte Cristo, which is not cool. Sending death threats is not cool, guys. This TSM fans, please stop. Stop. That's not cool. Death threats are not even, they're not funny. They're not cool. Why would you threaten to kill somebody? That's somebody's life. Like, I know TSM lost and it really sucks, but TSM does have next year. Unfortunately, even if Cloud9 lost, which is my favorite team, I wouldn't be sending death threats to people. But I understand how TSM fans feel right now. But not that I'm not a TSM fan. I like TSM, but they definitely got outplayed by Royal twice. And this is just painful to talk about. I really wanted TSM to win because I felt like this was their year to actually go deep in Worlds. I didn't think they were gonna win it, but I thought that this is their year to do really well. They look really strong domestically. They dominated pretty much everybody in the LCS. And then they don't even make it out of group stages. And another big surprise, I wasn't surprised that Splice got 4th, but what really surprised me, guys, is Royal. They got absolutely destroyed in the finals for LPL. Destroyed. It wasn't even close. Edward Gaming annihilated them off the rift, basically. And they come back, they went 3-3, but it's like, they have a lot of talent on that roster, but it doesn't seem like they have the cohesion that some of these Korean teams have. That, like, for example, the Rox Tigers game against the Albus. Now, if Rox Tigers didn't have that bad early game against Albus Nox, Rox would have won that game. Because if you watch that game, the team fighting of Rox is serious. It is serious. It's on a different level of team fighting, okay? But I think if Rox Tigers won that early game, they would have won that game pretty handily like they did in the last game. Now, Royal with Mata and Uzi, and who's it? Uzi? Yeah, Uzi. I don't know what Royal's gonna do with their mid laner, because he has not showed up at this event. I don't know what he's gonna do, or like, I don't know who the sub is for Royal. Actually, let me check. Who is their sub? Who's their sub? Did they? Oh, here we go. I was about to say, didn't they have a sub? What? They have Name? And they still have them on the roster? Interesting. I feel like Uzi is just one of those players, like, I don't know how, but I feel like once he's on the team, then everybody else gets kicked off the team or something, or they become a sub. I wonder how that happens, because I really feel like that happens a lot with Uzi's teams. Like, I feel like once he's on the team, then the roster really starts switching up a lot, and that happened with the same thing happened with OMG, basically. I don't want to talk about TSM anymore. That's heartbreaking, but I need to pick out my knockout stage. There's 1 day left and 17 hours. Now we're going to get to the quarterfinals, and I need to pick. Now it is SK Telecom is the first match. Wait, no, it's not. Samsung Galaxy versus Cloud9 is the first match. So this is all at 6 p.m. starting at Thursday? Yo, I'm ready. All right, so Samsung Galaxy versus Cloud9. I think this one is going to come down to the mid lane. I think this matchup is probably going to come down to the mid lane. Because really pains me to say this, but I believe that Samsung has the advantage in the jungle matchup. And not really sure about the bottom lane. But this is probably going to come down to, are they going to give Crown Victor? Because you shouldn't give Crown Victor. And with the mistakes that I've seen Cloud9 make in the late game and having so many problems closing out games, I don't think Samsung will have those issues in the late game closing out the game. If Samsung gets a lead, I think they will be able to close it out. And I think that Samsung's late game team fighting is probably, not even probably, I believe it is better than Cloud9's. So with what I saw in the group stages of Cloud9 struggling to close games, I will have to pick Samsung to win and advance, unfortunately. And that will be the unfortunate end of NA. I'm sad. I'm sad that I have to do that. That's my team right there, man. I love Cloud9. But that, unfortunately, I believe is going to be the end of Cloud9. The next one after that is SK Telephone. SK Telephone. This is what happens when you record at night. I need to record during the day. This is so bad. SK Telecom versus Royal Never Give Up, or RNG. Now, Royal has the talent, but I don't believe that they have the coordination to beat SK Telecom. And I believe that SK Telecom has the advantage in the top lane of Duke versus Looper. And with the way Royal's mid laner has been performing as of late, I will have to give the mid lane matchup to Faker, of course. I would give the mid lane matchup to Faker in 90% of cases, 99% of cases. In the bottom lane, Bang doesn't even have anything to do. He doesn't even have to do anything special. Because I believe Faker will probably dominate Xiaohu because he's just been underperforming unless he decides to show up. I believe SK Telecom will win 3-1. They're best of 5, right? Yeah, I think they will win 3-1. Because you can't give that roster. I don't believe that roster that Royal Never Give Up, I don't believe that they're going to lose 3 games in a row. I believe they're at least going to win 1, right? So I think they're going to win 3-1. Do I believe Cloud9 can take off a game off of Samsung, though? Man, it's just rough. That last game was so painful to watch, of them just throwing the game away against IMA and almost not making it through. I think Cloud9 is going to get 3-0'd, but I hold out hope that they could at least win 1 game. I think they can win at least 1 game. It's gonna be hard, but I think they're probably gonna get 3-0'd. I hope they win 1 game because nobody wants to see their team get 3-0'd. Like, I know you guys, if TSM made it here, I know you guys would not want TSM to get 3-0'd. All right, Rocks Tigers versus Edward Gaming. If group stages was any indication, Edward Gaming is struggling and Rocks Tigers is struggling, but when I look at the fact that Edward Gaming has Mouse and Rocks Tigers has Smeb, so it's like Peanut versus Clear Love, right? I I don't know how to call that matchup exactly. Then it's Pawn versus Kuro, and I think that Pawn is a better mid laner than Kuro, except for Victor. I believe Kuro has the better Victor than Pawn. I could be mistaken on that, but that's what I believe. And as for the bottom lane, Prey and Gorilla versus Mako and Deft. I believe the Rocks Tigers are going to win this series, and I believe they're going to win it 3-2 to face SK Telecom in semis. I think Deft can get you at least 1, maybe 2. I think he can do work. But if Smeb annihilates Mouse, which I expect him to, see, this is where it's hard. I want to say 3-1, but out of respect of Clear Love, Pawn, Deft, and Mako, I'm not even gonna say Mouse, because Mouse is gonna play Poppy. that's it. He's going to play Poppy. I don't know what else he's gonna play. Maokai maybe. I don't see him playing anything else because he does. I don't know. If Smeb the thing about Smeb, right? If he wins top lane, he's gonna carry the whole damn game. But I expect Def to go off in at least one of these games, and maybe Pawn go off in another. I think this is. I think Edward Gaming can win at least 1 or 2 of these early games against Rocks, the way the Rocks have been playing the first 15-20 minutes of the game. And then I consider EDG's team fighting to be, well, not on Rocks level. See, that's where it's tough. It's either 3-1 or 3-2. But the last one, Estu what? Estu que? Goes to semis. Now, Ace 2K versus Albus. We saw that Albus can still get demolished. She got complete and utterly demolished by Rocks Tigers in the last game. So they're still a wildcard team. I expect H2K to beat them 3-1. I expect them to beat them 3-1. However, I don't know if they're going to be as dominant in lane as they were the last day of group stages. That's probably not likely going to be the case, but I still expect them to come out of the quarterfinals. Now I need to pick between these, and this is where it gets even harder. I think Crown is better than Ryu in my opinion. Do I think H2K can beat Samsung? Yes. Do I have confidence that they can beat Samsung? No. Because I've seen H2K tilt off the face of the earth, and that is the only thing that worries me. In terms of talent, I think they can beat Samsung, but I've seen after 20 minutes they just don't do anything for another 20 minutes. Then then the other team, who was either behind or even, they just come back and win the game. And then if H2K loses, I don't know how they're gonna react, because I've seen them games that they're supposed to win, or that they can win. Or for example, this is how I should put it. If there's a game 5 with H2K, I can say with 99.9% certainty that they're gonna lose that game 5. For whatever reason, like maybe mentally they just can't handle game 5s, but that seems to be what the trend is, the worrying trend with that team. All right, so I'm gonna hold out hope. My pick'em is already effed, so I'm gonna hold out hope that Ace2K is gonna beat Samsung. I'm gonna hold out hope that a Western team can finally make it to the finals of Worlds. I think this is their year to do it, and if any team can, I think H2K can beat Samsung, but it is contingent on the fact if they win lane like they were doing in the group stages, like they were doing, like, I'm not gonna say that Ryu's gonna win lane against Crown, but Crown overextends sometimes, so maybe if Yankos ganks him a couple times, maybe he can tilt Crown or something, but my pick'em's already effed, so I might as well like just hope H2K can do that. It's not likely gonna happen because it's Samsung. I believe their mid to late game is way better than H2K's. But if H2K can win early game, which I've seen teams win early game against Samsung, then I believe that they can maybe close it out. Nah, I'm picking Samsung. I think this is actually hard to call. I'll get back to this. Now, SK Telecom versus Rox Tigers. So we're gonna go down the list of matchups. So it is Duke versus Smeb and Smeb. Peanut versus Bangy Blank Peanut. Faker versus Kuro Faker. Pray Bang. Unfortunately for Rox, the thing is, they have never beaten SK Telecom in a best of 5, I don't think. If I remember correctly, they've never beaten them in a best of 5. So even though, and also with the early games Rox has been having and the struggles I've seen in group stages, Kuro seems to just disappear when he plays against Faker, so I will go with the trend of history and say that SK Telecom is gonna go to the finals. And I don't believe I'm saying this, but I believe SK Telecom is probably going to win the finals again. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Wait. Oh gosh. Bless you to myself. And if you guys say bless you, thank you so much. Love you guys. Alright, so this, I know this is actually a long video of me telling you guys and explaining my thought processes for who's gonna win Worlds. But the main reason, I believe whoever comes out of this right here, Samsung and Ace2K, is going to lose to whoever comes out of this. 100%, I'm 100% positive that is going to be the case. Now, if Rox Tigers maybe beat SK Telecom once or twice in the past, then maybe I would have reason to believe that Rox would be able to beat SK Telecom, but I kind of believe that they just, Kuro disappears when he hits a wall or some kind of mental barrier when he runs into Faker, and you cannot do that against SK Telecom unless Smeb carries so damn hard. Smeb and Prey and Peanut carry so hard that it just doesn't matter. I don't know. I believe Peanut's gonna have his way with Bengi or Blank. Blank showed like better play at the end of the group stages at least, but I don't know if they can do it. they have never won against SK Telecom. But if this is, I mean, if they win Worlds by beating SK Telecom and then beating whoever comes out of there, that would be the time to do it for sure. But all right, guys, this is sad thing is, whoever comes out of this group, I don't believe they are going to win against either of these teams. I just don't know about SK Telecom and Rock Tigers, because Rock Tigers never beat SK Telecom in a best of 5 to my knowledge. And also, Rock's Tigers, they beat KT to win the finals, and they didn't beat SK Telecom because SK Telecom lost to KT, I believe. I think they actually lost to KT. So they actually never had to go against SK Telecom. So I believe that SK Telecom is probably going to win this Worlds again. If Edward Gaming played against SK Telecom, since they don't have that wall, I don't believe, against SK Telecom, I probably would have picked Edward Gaming. But you kind of just don't pick against SK Telecom. Alright guys, this video is long enough. Tell me what you guys think of my Worlds knockout picks. Has your picks for the pick'em, have they also been ruined by what's happened in the group stages? Tell me if you guys got everything right so far. Tell me what you guys think about the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. What are your picks for those matches? And I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, who do you guys think is gonna be the world champion? Tell me that, because I'd love to know everybody's opinions. And if you liked the video, make sure to slap that like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Wait, what? 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 How did I? What?